Hey YouTube, how is it going? I hope all is well. Oh, we're gonna finish what we kind of started yesterday. I had a little bit of time to actually kind of read through and figure out how to transpose this into something I can find online that's actually readable. This pamphlet is nice because it is as accurate as it can be for what's actually in the box. But unless you've got 20-year-old eyes, you're not going to read it. I can barely make out where everything goes. But I found a thing online that very closely matches it, and we're going to go with that. It was just one of those things yesterday where it's like, okay, I got to wrap my head around the fact that there's like 6 different grounds that go together in this thing. I mean, you got one for each pickup. You've got the ground for the bridge. You've got the ground for the, the switch. Just like everything is grounded. And there's like 6 of them. And then as you read closer in the manual, you realize that the switch literally is just a switch to ground for like 2 other things. It's just one of those things where until you wrap your head around the fact that everything's just grounded, you just, it's one of those sort of deals. I was tired yesterday too. That didn't help anything. And it was a big, daunting task to really try to make it through 3 different guitar things in one stream. That was a little bit much. I did get a different set of strings though for my buddy's guitar, that Schecter C1 Standard Plus. We are gonna change out to these here. They're just still too thin. I was hoping that going from 9 to 42, obviously we knew that wasn't gonna be enough. I went to 9 to 46, hoping that a couple gauges up on the lower end was gonna take it from here to there. C plus standard or C standard or whatever tuning, not gonna do it. So we're gonna go with the slinky top, heavy bottoms. We're gonna get a 54 in there, and I'm pretty certain that will handle the the lower tuning stuff. He wants to do the genty kind of heavier stuff with it. Maybe not genty, but that style of music, kind of the chugga chugga stuff. So that's what he's into. But today we are going to get this guy working so we can actually check out these Fluence Fishman pickups, kind of see how they're installed, all that fun jazz. And I'll tell you this, they're not as hard to install once you wrap your head around it. Like I said, once you get through the instructions, you kind of get A to B, C to D, and all that jazz. It makes sense. So yeah, I think if you did this a few times, you could turn this into a 1 to 2 hour long project. Anything that you do with a Floyd Rose is going to add an extra half hour to the timeline because there's just something about a Floyd Rose where it just eats up more time. With any luck, I'll put it back together and it will still be floating where I need it to float and all that fun stuff. Bully Dog, what's going on? Riley, thank you so much for popping in. Riley was first this time. Not much has changed except for after reading the instructions and then finding the cap. I was kind of shocked. So they give you 4 pots in this kit, right? They give you 4 pots. They give you the 2 switching things, but they don't give you the cap. You need a cap for the tone control, and they give you everything to have 2 volumes and 2 tones. So why don't they give you a tone control for either? I don't know. Like, that's literally a 5-cent part. Throw a couple of them in there just because if you weren't expecting that, you'd have to get these. Luckily, I already have them. Or you'd have to steal them out of the guitar that you were taking them out of. And I can tell you right now, the way that most companies wire up their controls, you're not stealing that and making it usable. I am going to attempt to make my life a little bit easier. I am going to pull this pot back out. I am just realizing to get that thing in there and try to reach down there and all that, and it's just, we're not going to bother. I am going to use the top of this as a ground plane. There's just too many grounds to try to get into one spot. It's not going to happen. So being that basically most of this switch isn't being used, I will jump over to this side with a wire, and I will use the top of these as a ground plane, if you will. So let me get the iron fired up, and we'll just kind of get rolling here, not waste too much time. I did learn that the white wire in the middle of each, well, there's a white and a gray wire, but the gray and the white wire will not be used. I may use them a little bit later. I believe those go to the high frequency tilt, if I am not mistaken. According to this, they are actually for coil taps. And then the high frequency tilt is on the two things there. But you read another diagram that they have on the Fishman site, and it has a slightly different nomenclature for it. Here's another interesting little factoid, if you will. If you go to the Fishman Fluence or Fishman site and you look at all the Fluence wiring diagrams, 225 different wiring diagrams. And I will say that I spent a little bit of time trying to find the one that matches the one that's in my booklet, and I couldn't find one that matched identically. So there's better than 225 different diagrams going on. Fishman may want to work on simplifying that a little bit. It would probably almost be better if they just put a thing inside of the pamphlet that says go to this webpage. I do know that they have a, what do you call it? Words are escaping me right now. Like a QR code or something like that, but I don't think the QR code actually leads you to the page that is for this specific wiring diagram. I can't confirm that. I didn't actually do it, but I'm just pretty good guess. So I'm just taking this pot back out because I do not want to try to get that thing in there. I was trying to see if I had a smaller one. That one's I think a 630 volt version, cap that is. And I have some smaller 0.047s, but they are, they're 430 volt as opposed to 630. But they call specifically in this diagram for a 0.022. And my experience with these active systems is that they do like that smaller value. So we're going to use the smaller value. Now, according to them, and see, I don't know why they don't call these the long shaft pots. To me, that is a long shaft pot. But to them, apparently not. So I do not know. Unfortunate, I guess. And I'm going to clean up this thing here. We do need to tin it anyway. But I don't want to go crazy. I'm also going to tin this other one out here. And let's see if I can get it to clear. No, it's not going to clear. Yeah, it is. There it goes. Let's see if we can get wax, or not wax, excuse me, solder in my shoe. According to them, on the diagram that I am looking upon, this little thing needs to go from this outside pin here to ground. Now, there's a way to cheat. Apparently, the two center pins here, I'll use an implement to point. So on the switch, it's a double pull, single throw, triple pull, or double pull. I don't know, whatever. It's got 6 connectors. I'm pretty sure it's paired up. So this pair and this other pair do something different, and the center is the common. Usually that's how these work. I think this is a double pull. But in either case, you take both of these centers and you just run them to ground. And that is essentially what's happening is when you pull this switch up, you take whatever's on these guys here and it switches them to ground. So that's essentially what's happening. So it's a double pull, single throw. But it's got, well, I guess it would be a double throw because it's got a switch on either side of the common. Whatever. So what they have you doing is taking those and then running up to ground. Now I could use the cap and wire it in such a way where we can use it as that ground connection. And I'm kind of kicking around getting clever with it and doing that. But the other part of me is like, nah, because what I could do is put the cap like that and kind of get it so it runs. You kind of get what I'm saying there. So like this can run through the center here. And then we can run this one up to ground over here. And then this other one would just go straight down to that thing there. But then this thing is sticking out the side like that. And while I have the room for it, it's a little tight in there. Now I could run it further back and then bend it backwards. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. I think I want to run it off the front. I think that would kind of make it a little more sensible. So I am going to get crafty here. I'm going to bend this back. I'm going to run it through, And I'm going to jump it over the top there. And let's see here. Can we get you to play for me here? No, it's not going to want to play, of course. And it's going to fight me. It's going to fight me. There it goes. And then, so now it's kind of sitting up on an angle like that, but I think what I can do is get this thing to play nice for me. I'm almost positive I can. And let's see if I can get that thing to push over. There it is. I'm just kind of basically making it do the bend that I want. So it sits flat, more or less like that. All right, both planes, and then I'll bend this guy so it goes in. Something like that. I'm being crafty. I probably don't need to be, but I am, because why the hell not? I'm going to go just a little deep. I want to be in the thing. There it is. And then I think I'll have enough if I ground it out to the side there. I can just use that as the ground. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. I think it does. So I think what I'm going to want to do is get this front one done first, because that seems to be the one that's giving me the most hell. Hold still. Yeah, that'll work. It's going to take some finagling while I do this with my hands. Bear with me as I fight with gravity. Gravity always wins, as you know. It'll all make sense in a minute. Hard in. That would be the nice thing for about this eutectic stuff that they keep talking about. So you can just kind of see it's a nice straight shot down, and then we'll make this thing sit there and go flat, straight, so it goes all directions the way we want it to go. I will make that a reality. And let's just make sure this thing's going to do what I want it to do. I think that's going to be good enough. I am going to weld that on one side so it stays locked in place. And now you can kind of get why trying to do this inside of the thing would be just damn near impossible. I know my head was probably over the top of it the whole time, but you can see there it's more or less flat on that plane, and it's more or less straight up and down on that plane. I'm pretty certain that will clear the top. It will clear the top. We are good. And then what I'm going to do is take this and go to the side. I don't really like doing what I'm doing, using the side of the pot. Again, we talk about not using the pot as a a ground plane, but in this case here, considering what we're working with and what we're trying to do, I'm going to let it go. Let me double check before I call dunce on myself that will work. All right, we're going to solder the rest of this in. Come on. There it goes. That went through nice like. We'll get the top side here. We just want to use enough to get this thing locked in. This is helpful to have a lot of heat. If you have a gun that will produce enough heat to get it done quick, that is ideal. You just want to get it on and you want to get it off. Like, the quicker you can get this job done, the better, realistically speaking. There you go. Yikes. So now we've got just a little glob there. I'm gonna learn how to do this eventually. So just a little glob there, little glob there. And now that I've got that done, I can go back to this guy now that things won't move, and then we can make sure that that one's good. We do want that to be a good connection. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. Now that I'm not wiggling it around, it should settle where it wants to settle. It is nicely connected all the way around. Yay. All right, so we can live with that. And then, of course, we just end up putting that guy on. We do not have to connect this outside one. So this outer lug there doesn't do anything. We just have one more pin there to connect. And then we have both the connectors that will go to this guy. Let's go ahead and prepare those connectors while I'm thinking about it. So I'm just going to cut the ends off of here, because I know I won't need at least that length. Again, I am going to leave these long until I know, hey, what's going on, Spent Electrons? I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Until I know for sure where I want to put these things, like I have it wired the way I want, I've got all the switches the way I want, I may add a switch, who knows. Until I get that figured out, I am going to leave those long, okay? But what I am going to do in the meantime is get these out of my frickin' way. And that's not going to work, of course, because why wouldn't it? I am just going to take these things and wind them together in preparation to tuck away. Because they just need to be kind of tucked away. I believe these ones are for south coil, outer coil options. Depending on, again, like which one you read, it might actually be for the... what is the word that they used? The high frequency tilt or something like that. I don't think these are for the high frequency tilt. I'm pretty certain that these are the south coil, north coil option switches. I am not that particular about it. I know that I'll have two options with this one, with the way I have it getting set up, but I cannot recall exactly which one's going to do what. As I recall on this one, we take the yellow and the blue. So the yellow and the blue will go together on a connection, and then the green and the orange will go together on the other one. And that's what I'm seeing on the online thing. And that's also what I'm seeing here. I see blue and yellow on one. And they got blue and orange on that one. But on this one here, I see green and orange going over to one side and then blue and yellow going to the other. So I'm going to say blue and yellow go together because they make green. Yeah, that's just what I'm going to do. And I'm going to wind these together. And those will go on this switch here. Okay? Okay. I am going to make them long still. But like I said, once I am certain how I want this to be wired, I will go back later at some other point in time and tighten it all up. I'm only doing this to keep it pretty. It also does help with noise a little bit. Not that it should be a problem in something like this. These active systems are a little less prone to those kinds of noises, if you will. But I am going to do it because why not? And then I'll cut these to be the same length. If that makes sense. I have a few minutes trying something different with my amp. There you go. I like it. That's what I like to hear. God damn, Dr. Pepper's so freaking good. Okay. There's that. We'll cut those to be the same length. Boop. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with our green and orange here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Kind of sounded like a Knight Raider or something like that, right? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, I just dated myself. Alright, come on. Twist. Do that twist. I did sound for him a couple times, actually. He's a cool cat. Chubby Checker. Do that twist. He knows how to get things done up, too, the way he likes. you know, everybody wants to come up and get pictures and stuff, and he'd like grab you and move you, and like, it's right here, and then he'd like tilt your head, like look like that, and then he'd be like, all right, and then he'd do this little thing, you know, and it's like, it was kind of funny. The girls would come in, I want to get a selfie, and like, he'd grab their phone, hand it to his assistant, which I'm pretty sure was his wife or whatnot, and then he'd physically move them to the position that he wanted them to be in for the shot. It was kind of funny. Cool cat, though. I got to work with him a couple times. All right. Okay, everything's twisted off there. So the tone control one is going to get the yellow and the blue. So let's go ahead and get those ones opened up here. I think I used my teeth yesterday because these things are so damn small. I don't know that this one fits. It did fit. Never mind. I'll make it work. We'll make it work. With any luck. Gimme. There we go. Do. Do that twister. Okay, I'll get that tinned up. All tinned up. Oh, next Airwolf? Oh my gosh. I can't actually remember. I watched only a few episodes. I know that thing didn't air for very long. I can't remember. They only made it through like a couple seasons or something, but I can't remember. I remember the howling sound or whatever that they had for the thing, but I can't remember what the song itself was. I was infatuated with those shows though when I was a kid. I like that. I like that kind of television. Okay. Now, according to them, it only connects on one. You can connect those two together. I'm just going to go with what I'm seeing in the book. So, it seems a little odd to me that they do it that way, but whatever. I will honor it. All right. Guten tight. I like it. All right. Now the fun joy is going to be getting this in there and then getting this wrapped up. But I'm not super duper worried about it. We're just going to put it in there for now. I need to get this one on. And I think what I'll do is I'll just put it in there for now. And I'll figure out how to wrap it up in a bit. I'm pretty sure this went kind of like that. I don't know. We'll just put it in there for meow. What next? A-team? Bias the 6v6 via the 1K resistor between B1 and B2 rather than the 470 ohm cathode resistor. I wouldn't do it that way. I know that we kind of talked a little bit about how you can use the screen grid resistor as a way to kind of set the pace for the amp, because it does have an effect on the bias, but that's not the way I would do it. This one was a brat, as I recall. Let's see here. How far off are we, though? Oh, it's actually pretty close. I can live with that. I got AC down here texting me. He doesn't know I'm live or something. I'm live, bro. You can hit me up all you want. He's just saying sounds good. Live, man. I talk with AC semi-often. I think oh man, I don't have that twisted the way I want, dang it. It's going to change things a little bit for me. What I mean by that is I got to get the battery in there still, but I also want to get this tone control kind of in there and down in there. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I can dig it. And then I got to get this wire on there. I gotta get that wire on there. That's gonna freaking be less than fun. let's get that all kind of, there we go. I've already poked it through because I cleared the path for it. We are going to get this guy and utilize our superpowers of having opposable thumbs. Now, to get down in there with an iron, solder that back up without melting any other wires. Can it be done? That is the question. If I only got to get one freaking wire down in there and not burn anything else. I think I got it. I think I got it. Survey says I got it. I got it from my mama. Let's see here. Let's get these wires down there. Okay. Okay. So now I want to make sure nothing else is like coiled around this thing here needlessly. So we're gonna do some clearing of things. We'll like get this running. And then what we'll do is we'll do something like this. So we'll get this like kind of tucked down in there. Like that or something. Or something. A lot of or somethings. Okay. I've got to get one other wire attached down to this one that goes to the pickup selector. That will be this wire here. I didn't do that yesterday. Probably should have. But I think I got enough space down in here. I can shoot the iron down and get this thing to attach. At least I think I can. And I don't think it'll give me any guff. There's plenty of space inside of the little hole or whatever you want to call it that the wire goes into, that I think it should just go in without too much, fighting. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, well, that just kind of flew in there for me. All right, we'll accept those terms. Okay, so now what we want this one to do is go over to here. And we're going to have it just go down. Do I have it go up and in? These work. I don't really like the way that they work, but I think what I'm going to do is do something like that. Yeah, we'll do something like that. And then I'm going to go a little bit longer than I need. And we're going to push the wire back. Carefully. Okay, and then we're going to use our cool opposable thumb tool over here. And the hope is that things aren't going to fight me too much. And when I use my left hand, I'm going to use my left hand. We're going left-handed over here. We're going ambidextry. I'm going to try to get that thing to shoot up through its hole without fighting me. And I got to get that at the angle of the dangle here. No, it's going to fight. Yeah, I wish you wouldn't. Wish you wouldn't. Oh, I almost had it. Did I get you? Sure seems like I got it. I know it's not in there the way I'd like it to be, but for now, it is doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, we want that to be clear of anything. Okay, there's that. Next is a bunch of ground wires. I need a ground wire to go across the top from this one over to this one. Right, so I want both pots to go to the same ground plane. And I'm going to wrap it around so it goes the long way around. I've got this for that. And it looks like this is a pretty good length as it is. So let's find a spot here. Should I go ahead and do this other stuff first? I think too much. A relatable source that specifically addresses my amp and my transformer. Cool. That's good. I mean, there's no wrong way really to do anything. It's going to be caveat emptor, right? Like most all those things are caveat emptor, which means user beware or buyer beware type thing. It's not that it won't work. It's just, does it work the way you want it to? And et cetera, et cetera. And what's best for the long run. I was saying before, I used to have a mentor years and years ago, and he would always say that there's 5 ways to do the same thing. And there's 1 that's absolutely wrong, 3 that'll work just fine, and another one that's the actual right way to do it. And he never did allude to what the right way was. And I think the whole point about it is that there's 1 absolutely wrong way to do it. Everybody knows which one that is. It should be somewhat obvious. There's 3 other ways that are going to work just dandily. And the right way is probably the one that you land on. I kind of feel like that's what he meant, because if you understand the 5 different ways to get there, then the rest should kind of, pan itself out. But he passed away years ago before I ever got him to give me the actual answer to that one. Now, the question is, do I care what side I go into? I went into the one side. It doesn't matter, I can tell you right now. I'm going to go into this side. Why? Because it's right freaking there. Okay, so that is sticking in. And I'm going to solder it right there. Yes, Dr. Pepper burps. I'm going to get that stuffed in there just a little bit deeper. There it is. Quite smitten. With that, I will tuck that into there. Okay, so now we got everything kind of coiled up down there. Let's get this guy kind of coiled up down there as well. I am gonna cut this one because I don't need to have a bunch of freaking length doing nothing. I'm almost positive we're gonna not end up using that. I'm not gonna bother even twisting them off or whatever the hell you want to call it. Again, because I'm quite certain that they're not gonna do something I don't want them to. Okay, so there's that. This guy here is going to go like this. And I want this to stay down. If I can get you to stay down, that would be super freaking... Hey! I like it. Okay, that one's going to go around. So now all I got left, in theory, is a jumper that goes across the center pole of this particular pot, which I'm going to use a short width of this, which will then go to the top here, or I can do it to the side, whichever. And then everything else needs to go to literally the top of one of these. I don't really care for it that way, but that is what we are working with, so that is what it is. I think with this one, it's probably going to behoove me to cut a little bit off. Probably should have done this first, to be honest. No, I gotta go there. And there. Yay. Get out of there. So I hope everybody had a good day. I mean, for some of you, it's probably just starting or ending. It's the middle of the afternoon for me. The day is still just young enough that it could be a bad day. I don't know yet. I don't know. Okay, what I want to do is run this all the way through. And I want to let it fall down. And then I want to take this side. I'm going to solder it in. Let me double check. I'm not cray. I am not cray. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that I did that right. And is there enough in there? I think there's enough in there now. Now we'll get the other side. Did I not? I did not. I did not get enough in there. I had a thoughtful dream that did not work out my way. Come on. Now it's stuck in there, but I'm not happy with how it's in there. Sorry, trying to be gentle. I'm trying to make sure I don't burn anything. I'm trying to make sure that I only hit the things I want to hit. There it is. All right. Turner. Now what I'm going to do is cut off the excess because there is now a little extra sticking out that I do not need. Managed to catch the little chunk. Awesome. I could almost literally make that a single piece of just black. I don't even need the freaking cloth on there, but we're going to keep the cloth on there because balls. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side and push it back. Now, I kind of have a choice right now. I could either just run it up to the top, like I probably should, and just do like a little spot right there on the top, so it goes right there, and then do all the rest. Like, I'm going to have to use the whole top of this damn thing, but... Or I can use the side like I did this other one. I kind of don't like... I don't know, I'm going to do it on the top. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to utilize this little tab that they got there. I'm going to turn the heat up a bit here, because I just want to get it on there. This is going to produce a lot of heat really quick. And I just want it to go on and get the hell out of my life. There it goes. Alright, so let's get this up there so you can kind of see what we've done. Maybe. You can just kind of see it right there. There's just a little itty bitty glob. It's not the ideal way to do this, but that's the way we're doing it now. Alright, so now I'm going to get something over here and do the same. It would probably be smart of me to just beat it to the punch and get like a little thing there. Get out of my way there, please. So I'm just going to do... Here we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tin this side here a little bit more. And then we're going to take this guy. I want it to be flush. Okay, that is looking good. Doesn't look like I made it too short. I've got enough room to get all the way around. Awesome. Because now what's going to happen... Ooh, I wonder if I want to... No, I'm not going to wrap those. That's just going to be too much. Alright, so... Let's see here. I'm going to push back on this one a little bit. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing. I apologize, but you just got to kind of believe what's going on here. It's like... You just gotta know that I'm doing things. I'm gonna put a couple blobs on here now. Put one there. Put one there. I'll add some more as we get closer. I'm gonna try to get as many on some of these spots as I can. We'll see how that goes. Let's see, that one needs to get 10, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. That's why I don't like the PVC stuff. It's already trying to shrink the wire away from me. There it goes. Alright. Oh, let's see here. So this one I'm going to go for far out. You're still a little hot. Thank you. We are going to have to probably use these. Starting to go freaking cross-eyed. Getting old. Okay. There's that one. Get this pressed down in there. What I'm going to try to do is use these rigid wires as ways to hold cable down so that they don't move. Okay, we're going to take this guy and come back a little bit there. There it is. And I blew it a little bit here. It's staying down, but what I should have done is threw some fresh solder. This is just like a little tip, if you will. You kind of need to think of solder as like an expendable item, right? It's one of those things that there's no point in trying to save it. So, in theory, Mr. Carlson's lab did a video on this recently, if you're interested in it. But he's got this thing where you clean the tip like that, and then you wet the tip, and then you put the tip away. That is your sacrificial solder there, all right? That is really not usable any longer. And then when you take the iron out, you either add more to it if it's still clean, or you clean the tip again, add some more solder, and then burn in what you need at the thing. Hey, we got some more people in here. Have your wires organized like that, or does it affect the tone? I think it just looks better to have the wires organized. Now, how much it affects tone is up for debate. In here, it's not as big of a deal. In the guitars, I should say, it's, you know, shorter is better, but in active systems, it seems to be less of an issue. They're not noisy because of the length of the wire. However, I would say that later on, if you missed it earlier, I was saying that today what we're doing is just getting this in here, all right? We're going to test this first. So we're leaving all the wires really, really long in case I don't like it and I have to take it apart and I try to sell this to someone else later on, right? So instead of cutting the wire down to this long so it's unusable for the next guy, we're going to leave them as long as they possibly be until I'm absolutely happy. Once I'm happy, then I'll go through and redo everything we've just done a little bit, clean it up, make everything the right length so it fits in here like it needs to. But if I don't like it and I abort and I end up selling this to someone else, it would sure be nice for them if the cables or the wires were as long as they could possibly be. That's the only reason I'm really doing it that way, is to just be nice to the next guy. In case. And nice to myself, because it may not be that I want to get rid of this setup. It might just be that I want to put it on a different guitar. And with a different guitar, I got to wire it a little differently. So, you know, it's probably would be prudent to then make sure that I can wire it differently. So we got a lot of different little spots here we need to do. So I'm just going to create a bunch of little blobs all over the place. And let's see here. Are you going to go? Come on, baby. There's one. I'm going to get you out of the way. I think I'm going to try to get one. You're not there. I want you here. Somebody's texting me again. Might be AC. Could be the wife even. I'm going to put one here, I think. So we're just going to blob up the top of this thing with a bunch of little solder blobs, because there's just like half a dozen little spots that we're going to have to put in still. Like this one here. I think what I'm going to do is try to get that one. Who is that? Make sure it's not. Oh, it's another friend of mine. All right, that one's on there. We're going to put this one right here. And it looks like I've only got 2 left to go. It looks that way. Let me get this done up the way I want here. Looks like I can do that. Cool, I'm gonna tin that one. What you saw me do right there was shake off any excess solder that I don't need on the iron, because it can just get ugly. You don't want it to be ugly. We don't need ugly. We don't do ugly, okay? And then there was only 1 wire left, to the best of my recollection. And if I'm lucky and I put this thing together, I won't get any sparky, sparky, boom, boom, and the pickups will turn on without dying. Okay, so let's see here. We're gonna put that down in there. This we're gonna get tucked down in here. That goes up to there. That is correct. I got this little space right down in here that should be big enough for battery. What do you know? Big enough for battery. This guy here is gonna wrap around as well. And let's just see what happens when I plug this thing in. Am I gonna get anything? Sparks? Shouldn't get any sparks because the circuit should not technically be complete yet. Because I haven't plugged anything in yet. So in theory, it should work. I'm gonna turn down my temp. And I'm gonna get the amp on. Excuse me. All right, let the amp warm up. See, that wasn't so bad. That's not very pretty. I don't like it, but it is what it is. It's a ground plane. All right, there is some activity on the amplifier now. So if I did this right, I'm going to turn that up. I'm going to turn that up. I'm going to plug this in. And we should be able to get some noise out of it. We don't have any hum, so that's a good start. Oh, I hear a knock. I hear them both. Okay. Okay. Except for my volume control isn't working because that's the one thing I didn't complete. So on the volume control, the outer lug goes to ground. Imagine that. And guess what I didn't put to ground? That outer lug. I missed 1 wire. And I know exactly where it is. I'm looking right at it because, you know. So I got to run 1 more ground wire in here. And it's going to suck to do because my other wires are... Here's the good news. All the pickups worked. The switch worked. I didn't get to test the tone knob, but I'm certain that the tone knob is going to work. That one's pretty basic and easy. But I just need to get 1 more wire down in there and up to ground. Right here. Darned. And so I'm going to turn on my iron again. Get a temperature going here. Missed it by that much. But the good news is I could hear some, when I tap on it with the switch, I get a pop in one spot, and then I get a pop in the other. It didn't sound as bright as I thought it was too. They are plastic pickup covers, so I guess shouldn't have any problems, but whatever. Okay. All right. See if we can do this without burning the wire. And what survey says, it didn't even go in the hole. Now it's in the hole. And now what I want to do is just go back in, do another one there to make sure. And I want to go a little deeper though. Pulled the wire out too far when I put it back in. And now I'm just not happy with it, period. So, I don't know. I can see things you guys can't, obviously, down in here. So, I'm just being picky. Being persnickety, I guess is the term. I just want to make sure I did a good job. There it is. Now I know I got it. Okay. In lieu of that, I now have options on which way I want to run that wire. Because of how I ran it, I kind of feel like I might as well just go up and just eke it right into that spot that's right frickin' there. I'm just going to kind of loop it around on itself. I will, again, once I'm happy with things, I will go back and clean this up. And then go from there. I'm going to bring up the temp just a little bit. And since I don't have any pads left, I'm going to just try to use this one here. That looks like it's pretty good, feels pretty good. All right, I bet the volume control works now. Let's see here. Nothing burned up, so that's also good news. Now, I don't really like having a battery with the thing open on it like that, but that may not be a problem. But let me see. I had something. I have this stuff here. Will it fit? Nope, not even close. It was a pipe dream. As I recall, the battery is not conductive to itself, as I recall. Let me confirm that. I just want to make sure that if this thing is sitting in there, the only thing it can ground out is ground. So I'm going to do this. You probably can't hear it, but I'm going to go beep, beep, beep. That's negative. So I'm going to assume that negative would go to negative. Cool. I didn't hear anything there. No 9-volt action. No sparky. We are going to be okay with that sitting in there. It can only ground out to things that it bops against. But the only thing it can bop against are things that go to ground. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, there. Now, my understanding is that these Fishmans are not very nice on batteries. That's been what I've heard. That they go through batteries kind of quick. I guess we're going to find out. If this system works well enough, I will put in a I know that ain't it. Where I freaking put that thing? I think it's in here. Yeah, there it is. If it works well enough, I'll put in like a battery pack or something like that. But I do want to put the battery cover or the cover on while I'm thinking about it. Meow. And part of me wishes I didn't put all the screws in this box, because my fat fingers have to now get them out somehow. But whatever. All right, I'm going to turn the amp off for a moment. We're getting close, everybody. We're now on a race to just put strings on. So, yay! What do we got? Oh, we actually got some commentary here. Let's see here. I do dip in tin liquid for circuit boards. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I'd love to work on getting like a reflow type system. When I worked at my other production company, I had a heat gun based or an air gun based soldering system, and I used to have to fix a lot of like LED lamps and LED walls. So I would use that to try to get the LEDs off and just do like little circuit board stuff. It was helpful. I wouldn't say it is the best way to do it, but it is a way to do it. At least for me, it wasn't the best way. I don't know. I'm used to just getting in there, you know what I mean? All right, let's see here. We're going to keep that out. We might need that. I am going to wipe down my grimy fingerprints from the side of this. We'll go back over it with some nice spray here in a minute. But, oh my goodness, my sinuses. Okay, that should be there. I guess I probably should have made sure that these were going to work first. Darn it. Darn it. Hold on, though. Are you my daddy? No, you're my daddy. Let's see how these are going to fit. That's actually pretty dang close. I can live it. I can live with it. Alright, so what I want to do is tighten those down now. Where they're going to go. That one's actually pretty close. And believe it or not, that one's not that bad. Tight enough for now. I wonder if I have those sleeves. Let me see if I can find the sleeves. I know, I apologize. There's so many other better things we can be doing right now, other than me looking for stupid sleeves. I have one. I thought I had another one, though. It's probably stuffed inside of one of my other pickup pot things. Like, I could be a jerk. I don't like to. This one has the press-on style, but as you can see, it's not the black nickel. And without the black nickel, it doesn't do me any freaking bit of good, now does it? So, the question is then, where did I put that other sleeve? I usually have a multitude of them. So I have these two. I could use those for now until I get another set of sleeves. But damn, I wonder if I used them on another thing at one point. Probably the case. Because it's apparent that I don't have the other one. Ain't that about a bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Yeah. Don't you laugh at it. It's not the end of the world. Let's see if these are going to work, though. I don't really use the tone knob often, so I'll just use that one. And then we'll just put the other one on. And what I want to do is get this guy in there. Are you going to go inside for me? Oh, maybe this isn't for this size. Alright, well. Tough puppies. Alright, so that's where I'm going to put that. I don't want to crush it, but at the same... Ooh, that feels nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And then we're going to put this one on. And... Ew. That one's like all crooked and stuff. Hold up. That's better. That's better. I will accept it. Alright, we'll save that for another day. Those are actually pretty smooth pots. I don't mind those. They're better quality than they look like. How's that? That's going to get put away there. I can put these away now. Okay, we're starting to cook with some gasoline here. I do need to get a set of strings out. There's that. We do not need this anymore. These can go in there. That can get put away. All right. When do we want to start the timer? Start the timer now. I'm going to change some strings. I'm going to try to do it semi-fast. I'm not going to go ridiculously fast, but we're going to put some strings on here. Now we're going to have some challenges because now we're trying to put strings on to a bridge that's not installed. So I'm going to show you another little trick. There's the wife. Oh, just hold the timer. Stop the timer. Hello, wife. You are live again with me.
Hello.
And how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I got a ridiculous amount of work done, and I am going to sleep.
It's like 9 o'clock.
It's like I have to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning our time.
Well,
But I get to try tried Venezuelan food tonight, which is really close to Cuban food, and it's definitely in my top 2. My palate was built for that food.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Uh-huh. Did it put, was that place, Portos, to shame?
No, it was similar to Porto's.
Okay, okay.
That's a geographical situation, but
Okay.
it was delicious.
Okay. Sounds good. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody messes with my Portos. So.
Yeah. Well, you have yourself a wonderful evening. Rest well, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Have fun.
All right. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
So, yesterday we talked about it briefly, but for those of you who don't know, the wife is out of town. Party's at my place. The wife is out of town. She is in D.C. right now doing some work for the SVFF, which is part of the veterans, like Veteran Affairs and stuff like that, the VA. And my wife's particular job is to try to get homeless veterans connected with services. Like, that's the long and the short of it. Her job is to help veterans who are homeless get connected with services so that they can get out of homelessness. I know that one's a tender subject for some individuals, but that's what she does. So there. Now, we are ready to do some things. Now, I'm going to show you something. So, remember we took these blocks off. We didn't take the blocks off. We loosened up these things here for the blocks. If you're in this state, how the hell do you get the strings on this thing and without the springs? Because if you put this thing in there, and it's just a little battle. Put the string in first. And put it, don't bop your guitar, but just put a couple of the strings on first. And you only need a couple of them. But that's what I found kind of works. It's generally best if you do, at least the 2 outer strings. I'm just going to put them all in. I'm going to be a little bit brave. You do got to be mindful and careful because you can scratch up the guitar doing it this way, of course, but, whatever. There we go. Got a better cut that time. But I found this to be a clever way to get yourself set up so that way when you put this thing in, like, you don't have to fight putting that part in while you run the strings out to the headstock. Right? Does that make sense? Another little trick is once you get them blocked in, bend them over the top. Get that part out of the way. So bend them over the top of their respective little bridge saddle or whatever you want to call it. And one of these days, I've had these cutters for so long now. They're piles of shit. They're Pittsburgh, so they're the freaking Harbor Freight specials. But I swear to God, I've had them for 20, 30 years. They've always just been kind of my guitar tech tool cutters. I don't know how they ended up with that job. It was just like, oh, yeah, we'll use these. And they never left that role, I guess. All right. Also, when you're putting these things in there on the blocks, you want to try to get them centered, the strings that is, on the block. So that way when it does kink over, it's not bending off the side. You want it to run straight down its little saddle piece that it has off the middle of that little block that's in there. Those little blocks or those little black things in there I was talking about. Just, little tips and tricks. If you're privy to this and you think you're better and you got a better idea or a better way to do it, let me know. I'm down to listen and try different things. So I'm not stuck on any one particular method, but over the years, that's what I found has worked for me. That's all. No more, no less. I'm open to tips and tricks. Tips and tricks. And kink. Now I'm going with 9s on this. I'm not trying to turn this into a super heavy duty metal guitar. So, It is kind of interesting that I'm using moderns. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it's going to work out. But burp. Okay, so now we got this guy on there. So now what we can do is drop it in. Again, you just want to be careful. Okay. Because now what we're going to do, what I found also kind of works. At this state, you only need to have like a spring in there. But it's really kind of hard to hold both things in at the same time. But with the thing pushed all the way back, it's easy to get a spring in there. You want to try to get a middle spring in, if you can. But now you can see it's buried inside of there, right? That's not necessarily good. So that's why you leave this guy in. And then you can get like a rag, or you can use something physical you just want to try to help this thing stay floating kind of near its equilibrium point. Because essentially what you're trying to do now is put these strings on. But if the fulcrum of the thing is bent all the way back and you get it tight, you're going to have to wrap the string around like an extra 2 or 3 times in order to get it to pull up. Conversely, if you have the fulcrum all the way up like this and you go to tighten it up, by the time you let it down, the string's going to be too loose. So you want to try to get the bridge near flat when you're getting the strings put on. So that way, when you do start putting the strings on, it actually is already at its equilibrium point. And it's just so you don't end up with a ridiculous number or too short a number of winds at your headstock or on your tuning pegs or whatnot. So that's why a rag works so good. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So with the rag, you can kind of see the bridge. See how it's kind of floating level with the top of the body? That's kind of all you need to do. You just need to get it floating level with the top of the body. And then once you get a couple of these things put in, again, it's generally easiest if you go one side then the other. Because as soon as you start to tune this thing, that spring is going to start to pull up. And you're going to have to add another spring. So you're going to have to add springs as you go along anyway. But you'll see what I mean. We'll kind of work it out here as we go along. More or less, just this one string here alone is enough tension to pull the fulcrum forward, which means I'll have to add another spring here. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So remember when I said it's helpful to go back and forth? The reason why is now all that tension's only on this one side of the knife. It can rotate out of there. So you don't want it to pull so much that it actually can relieve any tension off of that spring that's in there. So I am going to go to the other side here and put that on next. I just want to try to even up the tension as much as I can, that's all. And then I'm doing my over-under thing on the thing. I have other videos on that. I'm not trying to show you that today. We want to get to playing this thing here. I'm doing some show and tell. But we did start the timer, right? Somebody remembered to start the timer. I don't think I've taken too long yet. I am still not certain as to why they don't just use locking tuners on guitars like this, because you don't need the headstock any longer once you kind of get this thing put together, right? Because you got the nut locks. So I think in the future, the tuners that are on these things are really nice. I think they're Grovers, even though they say Schecter. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take the rag out, and this is really going to pull them tight. So I may even need to loosen it up a little bit here. See how it falls back on its own nicely though? That's what you want. So now we're going to add another spring. You kind of want to remember the spacing that you had as well. That will be importante later on. This one's playing hardball with me here. The words that I'm looking for are not coming out of my mouth, but more or less the whatchamacallit's trying to play a different game for me here. Now we can do this, and again, you just stuff this in there just to help. Here, pretty quick, we're gonna want to put all the last spring in, but I just kind of want to get all the strings on now. I guess I could put the other spring on right now. It probably wouldn't matter much, but I don't know. I just don't see a need at the moment. It's just easier when everything's not so, what's the word for it? Flagrant, because you got, strings splattered all over the place, freaking rags hanging out, all kinds of weird stuff. And since we don't actually need the strings to be tight, this one's already going to end up being a little long on the wrap because I didn't even it out quite yet, but now that I got this, what I can do, all right, let's go ahead and do it. I've got enough strings on here now. I think we don't have to worry anymore. I'm gonna get this last spring on. We're just gonna call it good. Okay, I got all the springs in there. So now what we're gonna do is get this thing as close to level as we can get it. Now that we got at least two okay, and let's go ahead and cut that one. It's in a good spot. I know I'm not gonna have to worry about it anymore. All right. I have not yet cut my low E or high E string yet, I should say. Even though this guitar has a locking nut, I still wait on those until it's done slipping. It's not that they commonly slip, but you don't want to tempt fate. A locking nut only does you so good. Because if you decide to open it up and it's going to continue to slip out, well, you're kind of boned anyway. Kind of another neat trick about Floyd Roses, though, is you kind of know when you're actually in proper pitch, because the tuning will stay stable. So provided nothing changed, I don't know that things are still... I don't know that things are still solid yet. Okay, a couple more to go here. Do. Come on, get in your home. That quilted top. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought it was a beautiful guitar. I didn't shop around too much when I was looking for this one. It was kind of one of those things where I was shopping for kind of a shreddy guitar, but I wanted to have a Floyd Rose because I've never had a guitar with a real Floyd Rose. So I was like, okay. So I did a bunch of looking around, and it just seemed like the one with all the best features, like all the things I actually wanted: compound radius neck, ebony fretboard, good fret job, a 3-on-3 headstock, like a super strat kind of body thing going on. Like, this was the one at the time when I was looking for it that fit all those things. So when I saw it I got it off of eBay, interestingly enough. It was one of the first guitars I ever bought, sight unseen kind of thing. But the seller, didn't oversell it. The price was right. I think I got it for like $650, right in there. It's like right around $600. And I was like, okay, this makes a nice looking guitar, and yada yada yada. Asked the wife if it was cool. She's like, yes. I think she wanted a new pair of shoes. So she got her new pair of shoes. All right, we're almost done here. Watch, I'm gonna freaking plug this thing in. There's gonna be something wrong. Gosh darn it. Looks like the pickup height is gonna be okay. I kind of want it to stay low if we can get it. I want it to try to stay direct if I can. When I say direct, I want them to be slammed down to the body as close as I can get them. I want to try to give them as much of a shot of being fatter sounding as I can. All right, I'm going to cut the G string. All right, let's get this thing off of here. And it should float. It is floating. All right, let me get a pick. Let me get the pick. And let's go ahead and try to tune it. I can tell you right now it's not up to pitch because the bridge, the fulcrum, is below the bridge or below the body line. So we're going to find out real quick here. We're getting close. It's not quite there yet. From what I can tell, the strings are still a little loose. So we're actually gonna bust out the tuner. I might be, another half step too low still. I'm usually pretty close right off the get. Again, like I can tell because this thing will cheat and tell you, I was right on the money. Imagine that. You see that? Oh, it dropped, of course. It was at E for a second. Oh, what do you know? It's starting to level out. As the strings stretch, it will come into its own a little bit more. All right, I am not going to lock the tuners yet, but I do want to hear what this thing is going to sound like, so we are going to find the hole and plug it in, and everything's up. Okay, that works. That one's a lot louder. It is kind of an interesting sound. All right, let's. I'm pulling out the thing. So this is voice 2, apparently. Voice 1. Voice 2. Huh. Okay, that's voice 2. This is voice 1. Actually sound better than I thought they would. I'm not going to say I dislike it. I prefer voice 2 already. Sorry. So here's what I do like about them already and why I'm kind of actually happy at the moment. They sound like active pickups, whatever. We expected that. What is cool about them is that they actually do freaking clean. By that I mean, I don't know if you've worked with a lot of active pickups before, but for me, usually in the clean, like when they're clean, they don't do clean. They're always got some level of crunch to them. And I don't like that. That's always been kind of one of my things. There was a tip that I read about these that said that you're probably going to want to run the neck pickup in its low gain setting, which is the -6 dB setting. I can already see that is the case. The neck pickup is much, much hotter than the bridge. I don't know what voice 2 is, but I already like voice 2 better. I might reverse the wiring. So remember when we wired that switch, there was the 3 poles on it, right? The center one was the common. The center one was the one that we went to ground with, and we connected it to this bottom one. So when the switch is in the down position, it's taking this one and shunting it to ground. I think what I'll do is I'll move this one up to the top one, so when it's in the up position, it'll go to voice 1, but it'll live in voice 2. That's where I'm thinking it right now. But I like the neck pickup in voice 1 better. So maybe I'll disconnect the two, because remember I wired them together and then put them on the bottom one. Maybe what I'll do is I'll swap them apart so I can have the way I want. Oh wait, I forgot there's another switch too. So the tone control is very interesting. It's not really knocking a whole lot of bass. It's like not knocking a whole lot of highs off. It's just like a subtle, just the very top end. It shows a 0.22 UF. I think the one I have in here is a 0.022 is what it is. I have to double check. I thought it said it was a 0.22. It's a 223, but they say it's a 224, I think. So that might be what's wrong. A 223 is 0.022, so that might be why it's so mellow. So this is tone all the way up. I don't know if you can even hear it, but let's make it so you can. And then this is tone all the way down. It's just enough to knock the air off. I actually kind of like it, but I'll probably go back and play with that a little bit. Who uses a fucking tone pot anyway? Now let's see what that voice 2 does on the bridge pickup. So they're saying that the voice 2 on this is supposed to be a single coil. Sounds like an active pickup single coil to me. Alright, well, let's see what it does when it gets angrier. Whoops. Hit it a little hard there. Oh yeah, let's stretch these strings out and get it over with. Hold on here, sorry. Should have just done this already. It's gonna take forever for these strings to stretch. Alright. Oh yeah, that pitched way down. Let's go. Alright. Freaking stupid thing. So my snark, the thing that makes it rotate or allows it to rotate is just like super loose. Come on. Yeah. The Parkers are cool guitars, man. I can't say they're not. Pretty balanced from string to string. It's actually not bad active sounding pickup. If they stayed in freaking tune. Everything wants to go out of tune right now. So, I'm sorry. I know this isn't the most exciting part of the show at the moment, but we're just kind of getting to the point where we can actually lock this thing down. And oh, I guess it'd help if I kept my finger off the damn bridge. Forgot about that part. It's getting closer. It's getting worked out. Takes a little while. Very nice. All right. The D7 has a hell of a lot more gain than I think it does. Like, that was all the gain knobs all the way up. Now, I'm not going to say that's uber amounts of gain, but that is a lot of gain for what's going on in that thing. And you heard, it goes all the way to clean. I have mixed feelings about these at the moment. I like it in position 2. I will probably flip-flop the order that this switch works. So when it's down, it'll be in voice 2. Up, it'll go to voice 1. I don't mind the single coil mode. I'm probably going to go back and change this one. There's like a jumper in the back, so I gotta take it out. The next time I do strings, I'll take this thing out. I'll put that little jumper in there to make this drop down minus 6 dB. I think it sounds good. I would say, as far as active pickups go, I prefer these over many of the others I've used. Definitely over the 8185s. I'm still... Here's the plus for these, okay? Remember I was talking about those EMG, the not Kirk Hammett one, the James Hetfield ones? Those were crunchy. Like, you could not get a clean sound out of them. You could back them away from the strings pretty much as far as you wanted. They were so dang hot that they pretty much always had a crunch to them. I did not like that. I do not like that kind of sound or feel. So I was a little disappointed with that. But what I can say is that these ones don't appear to get crunchy like that, which I kind of appreciate. So between these and those, I take these. If you're into the, more clean, these definitely have that modern kind of clean things for them. More pristine, almost too clean kind of thing going. I think once you get the the right kind of stuff going on, it gets even better. I obviously need to redo the tone control, although I kind of like it where it's at. It's just subtle, which is kind of cool. It's not overt. You know what I mean? Like, nobody rolls the tone pot that far down. So, and on this one, you don't have to. Haha. So, something else that you probably don't care about because we've already done it too many times already, but we have completed our mission today with the Schecter Banshee, and we have gotten the Fishman Fluence system put in. It's really simple. This is the most accurate. I'm going to show it to you right now. Let me make sure. Yes. So this right here is the most accurate version that I could find for the particular model of Fishman Fluence I have gotten. But it still doesn't even show the center wire here. That center wire is, I think, so like this one here where they have these, the high frequency tilt, that's not what they are on, this is what I mean. Modern humbucker set wiring, completely the same thing as what it says here, but different nomenclature for different things. It baffles my mind. But the way everything connects is the same and correct. Sans a 3 positions switch as opposed to the other one. But you can see how there's all kinds of these other things here. You got a ground there, or something there, you got a center tap there, or high tap there, whatever. On mine, it's a little bit different. It looks more like this one, except for those are up there. There must be hundreds of different models of these things, so definitely look at what you're looking at. There are 225 different variations that you can go with, so keep that in mind. All right, what I want to do is put the thicker strings on this guy. So we're going to change the strings yet again on this guy because it's just a little too floppy still. I was hoping I could get away with it. It's just not going to do it. So I am going to destroy yet another set of strings. So yay. I haven't even looked. How many people are in here right now? Does anybody even care? There's 12 of you. Wow, I'm just kind of shocked. I don't know what the peak was, but looks like we had up to 15 at one point. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I know that you could do so many other cooler things out there. You could be hanging with Andy right now while he fixes his boat, but you're here with me. You could be hanging out with your wife, but no, you're here with me. And you're watching me change strings on a guitar that I just did strings on literally yesterday. So, yay. You know how you done it right? You've done it at least twice. I am gonna... So, I got these ones. I'm not necessarily a fan of Ernie Ball, but I got those because it had the values that I was searching for. Basically, I wanted to stick as close to a 10 as I could. I wish we could have gone with 9s. I still think a more hybridized set would be better for this guitar still, but... that is the closest I could get to the standard values that was on this guitar when it was sent out. This thing had 10s on it initially, so we are going to put 10 through 54s. So this thing ought to have enough heft to deal with, you know, C sharp or whatever the hell it is. It'll be fat. It'll be fat. I don't usually do the chugga stuff. As you probably noticed, I'm not exactly that guy. My chops are weak as it comes to the metal, you know. I'm going to try to get a screech out today. How's that? My goal today is to do a... We're going to do a tire screech, okay? That's the goal. Anybody want to take any bets on whether or not I can pull it off? I don't know. We're going to see. Why the fuck? I know I've opened these once before in my life, but jeez, it's like they don't want you to get in there. The new Darios, whatever you want to call them, the new ones, they are putting like a Ziploc top on them now. It's not like your old school ones where you had to rip the whole bag open. Damn, this is like a bass string on here. Look at a fat mofo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, Brian, you're going to love this thing now, I bet you. It's going to give you the thunk. That one's definitely going to be fat. With any luck, I won't have to do much setup on this. I am imagining I'm going to have to take some relief out of the neck, or add some back. Well, take some relief out of the neck is what my guess is. We're going to find out, but you just don't know until you do it. Knock it the frick off. Sorry, yelling at inanimate objects over here. Alright, I'm going to cut that. Bong. I'm assuming they put these in the right order. It looks like everything's in the right order so far. Let's see here. What do we got? I was late getting in. You were late, but you're here now. That's all that matters. Don't ever be late to my class again, all right? I'm kidding. Never come to my class late. It's probably a good thing I'm not an actual teacher, huh? Probably a good thing. That was about the only award I got when I was in school, was perfect attendance. I don't know why me and what do you want to call it? Fudge, the word that I wanted to use for somebody who is timely, it has slipped my mind. I am not tardy. Never. What is it? What do you call it? You can call me anything you want, but don't call me late or something like that. I can't remember. I don't know. Never mind me. I'm just freaking being a goofball. Bleep. Doop 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 doop. I am punctual is the word. Punctuality is my thing. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're freaking late, that kind of thing. The military probably would have loved me. I didn't go into the military though because I knew that I would probably get killed. By that I mean that my SO or CO, whatever you want to call them, would literally murder me because I could not help myself but laugh every time he yelled at me in the face. Look, you mother turd freaking burglar, trying to manage to get your ass in the bed. He why you yell? I'm one of those types. It's not that I don't do good with authority. I do well with authority. There's just kind of like how the authority is authoritized. I want you like whispering in my ear when you're doing it type of thing. I don't know what it is. I'm teasing, but I almost thought about becoming a law enforcement officer, but I'm not authoritative enough. And I have, what would you call it? I have a switch. You know what I mean? Like everything's cool until it's not. And I'm really good about just getting out of situations when it's no longer cool. But I am very much anti, what's the word for it? Anti-confrontational is the word. But once I get there, I'm not very fun to be around anymore. I don't even like myself. If you've seen some of the things I've said on Andy's chat threads, you'd understand. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm a really cool guy. Like, you have to pretty much, you have to furk up pretty bad. And I'll probably still have a beer with you afterwards. Because I don't get mad. I get even. I'm kidding. I'm a type A, what do they call it? Passive aggressive. I'm like the worst type. I need to probably go to anger management. But nah. I'm cool. Did you guys ever watch that movie, Anger Management? I always thought that one was kind of funny. The way you just antagonize, just, I don't know. That would be me in a lot of ways. Come on. Have you been timing me? Have you been timing me? You better been timing me. This has gone pretty quick if you ask me. I don't know. What do we got going on here? I have no problem so long as, yeah, right? All right, last string. And come on, baby. Get in your home. Speaking of Adam Sandler and anger management, get in your home. What are you, too good for your home? Doop-de-doo, doop-de-doop-de-doo. Come on. Rap. Sorry, dead air is bad air, but when you're just concentrating on wrapping a freaking string around a tuning head, like, what is there to really talk about? Yay! All right, let's see what we get here. Can I even guess what C sharp is? Probably not. I don't know why, but that kind of feels like it's pretty close. I was half-assing it, but let's find out how close I really was. Oh, man. Well, I was only a whole step off. Step and a half, maybe. I was on the right note, at least. I was on the right note, at least. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just do it. You guys can't really see me. So here, right? That was a golf movie, right? All right, let me see here. What am I freaking looking to do here? This. All right, I want to go to that, and then I'm going to go to preset 3. Get in there. Okay, so I'm going to get back a little bit and show you what I'm doing here. So what I usually do is I just pull up on the strings and give them a yank, right? I just kind of grab them with my hand, 3 fingers and a thumb, and just give them a little yank. That's all I do. That generally helps. And then once the tuner decides to get with the program here, Now, I don't know if the intonation is going to be in anymore. I haven't even checked the, whatchamacallit, the, I don't, freaking words today. The relief, let me check that real quick. It's acceptable. I will let it pass. Better, I'll tell you that. Much tighter. It's actually kind of half fun to play that way. Ha! The question is, can I do it while I'm actually playing though? I don't know how to do it. I'm going to be honest. It's out of tune, dang it! Well, now I have to tune it again. You know how you done it right? You done it like 5 freaking times. Close enough. It's like a talent I don't have. I don't know what it is. Like I just never quite figured out that squeech thing. I actually really like this thing with the 54s on there. This is definitely more angry. I have to turn down the low cut quite a bit now because it's actually got some thump behind it. I want you to understand right now. I did turn down the volume on the guitar, but this is the volume of the amp at that level. I mean, this is right now like you'd be pissing off the wife right now. This is with the amp on and obviously the guitar on. Fuck it, let's dime shit. Get in trouble. Guaranteed you are gonna get in trouble. That is not even all the way up yet. It's got some punch. You can feel it in your chest. That's starting to get angry. I'd say this thing's fucking angry. And that's all the knobs is basically dime. Presents to taste. I even turned the bass all the way up. You can turn the bass down. It probably wouldn't get quite as fuzzy, but I don't know, man. My gosh, that was actually kind of visceral. I'm not gonna lie. That was, I mean, it doesn't come through for you guys. I have a bunch of compression on this thing. Like obviously it just kind of peaks out at a certain level. To you it probably just sounds all kind of compressed and mushy, but in the room, let me tell you, if you cannot get along in a band with that, and there was still more to go. I think we got it up to what, like 11-ish, 11 o'clock. That was getting to the point where I don't want to be around it anymore. That's angry. That's all amp too, by the way. I did turn down the effects loop a little bit so it wasn't so prominent, but this is what we were using into the front end, just a 10-foot cable. And it goes all the way to freaking clean. Well, so I didn't install the Fishman on this one. I did it on my other one. So let's see if that one settled a little bit. Let me wipe this one down, make it all clean and pretty so we can give it back to our buddy Brian and tell him thank you for letting me use it. and muck it up a little bit, but I'd have to say quite happy with that. I am gonna get me one of these. The wife doesn't know it yet. I'm sorry, you're looking at my wrong area here. Bam. There we are. I'm gonna get one of these. The wife doesn't know it yet, but this is definitely worth the money. For $650, the C1 Standard Plus from freaking Schecter is just killer freaking option. I don't like the fingerprints down there. We're gonna actually try to attempt to get them off. So we need a light on that. Let's see if we can do it with this. There we go. It's a little bit better. There it is. A little better. All right. And it's even got a cutaway here. Like, they didn't have to even do that. Like, that's just kind of cool. I don't know. This is a killer guitar. It's mahogany body. It's comfortable. This one was 7 pounds, 4 ounces, so they said. It's just comfy. I don't know. This thing is killer. I like it. The pickups are growing on me. I wasn't a fan of them at first, but they definitely suit like that style of music. Heavier stuff for shizzle. I mean, for stock pickups, that's like pretty impressive, if you ask me. Impressive. I will accept that. Now, let's play around with the Schecter just a little bit more now that things have hopefully settled on it. We're not going to play kind of like crazy of that. I'm going to try to do more clean stuff now. Again, I'm not tuning the Schecter down to like a C standard or something like that. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, so they're the Fishman Moderns, just to clarify. I didn't even take the plastic off yet. Let's bring this back down into clean zone. Let's see here what we got. Let's see, we're gonna load lines look better here. Cool. Okay, yeah, I did answer that. Good. Genuine. Yep. Nothing crazy. Well, are they made in Coachella, or are they still based out of San Luis Obispo area? I can't recall. I know they used to be out of San Luis Obispo, but I don't know if they've since gone to another locale or not. I don't know. I went to get a job with them once, years and years ago. They needed a sound engineer, and I don't know if they balked at my pricing or if they balked at my skill set, but like everything they wanted, I had. You know, they needed somebody that can operate a generator. They needed somebody who could operate large machinery. They needed somebody familiar with the type of equipment they were using. I was like, I check. Like, I was putting line arrays in the sky by this point in time. You know, I was working with Meyer and all kinds of the other, companies like that. And I thought for sure I had it in the bag, but they asked what my asking rate was, and I told them, I think at the time I wanted 85 grand or something like that a year. To me, that was like risking potential, really. I was leaving stuff on the table. This was what, 15, almost 20 years ago now. So, I don't know. They didn't take the offer, apparently. I wasn't the one. Oh, cool. Yeah, low budge. Way to go, man. Yeah, I'm the same way as you. I was just talking about that earlier because I just finished installing them before I made all that racket a little bit ago. I prefer Voice 2, and I want to switch the switch. I got I only got a 2-knobber, right? So with the 2-knobber, I got a switch on both of them. On this one here, you can see I have it in the up position. Well, you can't really tell, but I have it in the up position currently. That's the one I actually kind of like. This is the down position, Voice 1, I guess. It's not bad. It's not that I dislike it. It's got a little bit of the honk thing kind of going for it. I actually want to reduce the height on the pickup now a little bit. I'm just a little bit closer than I'd like, I think. I'm getting a little, just starting to get some crunch out of it. So like I was saying earlier, the one thing I dislike about actives is they seem to have this crunch to them. That's not bad. I literally lowered it like 2 mil. But that's with the low cut kind of all the way up. So I need to darken the amp. They got plenty of low mids, almost too much low mids. Something to try to warm them up a little bit here. There we go. So that's voice 1. I'm still not a fan of that, to be honest. This is voice 2. I kind of prefer that one. What's interesting though is that in voice 2, sorry, I know I'm a little off camera right now. Let me see. Is it worth doing it? Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna do something I don't really care to do. I'm gonna move myself into view here. I'm a goofball. I know it. My apologies. It makes the bridge pickup almost sound kind of like it's the neck pickup on some guitars. But now that I've done that, I want to take some of the highs out. Or add some back in that I took out. Yeah, voice 2 is where it's at for this bridge pickup. On this guitar, for sure. Let me see if this changes anything. Hold on, I'm going to change the view again. It's not going to help see me, but maybe it will. It'll show the amp at least anyway. So that's the amp a little bit closer. Why can't you... Oh, okay, you could. All right, and then this is the coil tap, I believe. Now, I think this is set for the inner coils. I don't know for sure, and I know that you can set it for the outer coils. I think it would probably be better with the outer coils. It wouldn't sound like a position 2. Wouldn't sound so much like a position 2 on a Strat. I like that position though. So this is the center position here. So it's basically both pickups in single coil mode. It's got a nice warm tone to it. Let me do a thing here. So using them for recording, it's yeah, no, it is nice too. That is nice actually in the position 2. I kind of like that. This is position 3. This is a neck pickup. I am going to run the minus 6 dB on this the next time I change the strings. And then this is position or voice 1 in the neck. It almost seems to me that it's backwards on the neck. I don't know if I fudged something up, but voice 1 on the neck seems like it should be voice 2. This is supposed to be the voice 2 position. It sounds to me like it would be voice 1. But it is louder in voice 1 though, so that's what kind of gets me wondering. I prefer voice 1 on the neck pickup, but it's too loud in comparison to the bridge. And I can't lower the pickup anymore in this guitar, so I am going to put that minus 6 for sure. Now, I think single coil mode on the neck with the high frequency tilt turned on might be better. It's a little bright for no reason. I guess it is what it is. Amazing clarity though. I really like the clarity of these things. Like I say, it's a little dark in that mode, but so voice 2 on the neck is almost like a JB Jazz kind of setup. Sounds like a Seymour Duncan Jazz, or close, similar to it to me anyway. I'm playing around with the EQ a little bit. A lot of compression. But they're clear. It's not bad. It's just, it's a bit of compression. So that is with the like single coil mode in the middle position. I like that one actually. It's a fun one. You can do the kind of the you know, that kind of crap. It's very, it's kind of got some of that Jerry Garcia kind of thing to it. Kinda. Let's get a little brighter too. So obviously the amp can get pretty bright if you use the presence. The presence control is a really helpful tool on this amp. There is too bright. You wouldn't want it that bright. But this is the presence all the way down. It should just make it more rounded out. It's like a focus control almost. It rolls off a little bit of the bass and a little bit of the highs. It's really cool. That's the neck pickup in single coil mode. I like the single coil mode, except for the neck is a bit bright with that one. the high cut knob on this is actually a slight boost, and it is a true cut. So in the center position, it's pretty much neutral. Just as an FYI, if you are the winner of this amp, just know that the high cut is a little bit different than my low cut and the mids. The mids are a cut only, and the low cut is a cut only. But the high cut is a boost slash cut circuit. So if you do turn it up, you do add a little bit of air, and when you turn it back a little bit, it gets a bit darker. I made it so it doesn't get super dark, so even with the highs all the way down, it doesn't get into a woolly mess. Like, it never really cuts all the highs out, it just knocks the tops off. So even with bright pickups like this, it kind of helps it out. It really kind of rounds it out nice. And I still have the presence all the way down, so if you needed to add some of that brightness back, you can bring the presence up. Presence at what, 3-ish? And by about the time you get to 4, it's going to start getting too bright. I didn't add a whole lot of brightness because most of the highs are cut out that it's working within. That's the presence all the way up. Nothing can save you from that. It will be overtly bright at that setting, so no matter where you're at. There are a couple different ways you can set this thing for clean tones. Well, I should say there's almost an infinite number of ways you can set it up. Up until about 12 o'clock, both of the gains are pretty clean. Pretty clean. It's just starting to get into breakup zone. Now, volume 1 is where most of that grit is coming from. Maybe with single coils it would stay clean all the way up to there, but for the most part you can play around with both of them to get kind of this clean tone that you want. And it will change depending on where you set them. You'll notice a little darker, a little rounder now with both of them set the same. And it's just right on the verge of breaking up. But it's dark for me. So I do have the effects loop in on this thing right now, so you do hear the reverb coming from the effects loop. It is post preamp on here, just FYI. So it is after the mids. The very last thing in this thing before it hits the master volume is the mid control. The mid control is not in the actual preamp circuit. So if you cut the mids, it's cutting the mids of everything. It doesn't affect the gain. It doesn't affect, it affects the volume, but not the gain, okay? So hear how it gets quieter? And then you gotta make up for it by turning the master volume up. Now the mids do kinda, they're centered right around 1 kilohertz, they're about 1 kilohertz, but it's pretty broad, so it goes into the lows and into the highs quite a bit. So it kind of acts more like a focus control, if you want to call it that. Basically, it eats into some of the highs a little bit. It eats into the lows enough that it kind of collapses the frequency response in a little bit while reducing some of the mids. It's one of those kind of controls that much beyond about noon, it's going to be too much. You're probably going to be living mostly between 3 o'clock and all the way up. I like it all the way up because I love my mids. What's going on, my man? Good to see you. Yeah, dude, this thing came out beautiful. The green screen is on, so some of the artifacting from that is affecting the color of the top, but dude, she is beautiful. Once I actually complete a couple other things, I will post some more appropriate pictures. We'll do some stuff. I'm just kind of showing off these pickups, the Fishmans, and just the amp in and of itself. I'm trying to get as much time with this thing as I can because I got to send it off, and damn, I'm very, very jealous of whoever's going to win this thing because I am not kidding. I want one of my own amps. This thing is just so versatile. Everything you've heard is single channel. There's only one channel. There's no switches. It's all knob. It's all guitar. I'm literally plugged in with a 10-foot cable straight to the guitar. The effects loop is a parallel effects loop. Be mindful of that. So EQ controls and drive controls and compressors and stuff like that in the effects loop, not going to work for you. You're going to have to put that in front of the amp. But delays and reverbs, whoo! But this thing is it's just super freaking versatile. I don't know if it excels at the medium gain kind of thing. Probably not for a lot of people. It's not like a JCM 800 or some other amps where they excel at that medium crunch gain thing. It doesn't really do that too well, but once you get it gained up, it's a lot of fun. But then again, I'll be honest in saying I don't really spend a whole lot of time with it in the medium gain, so maybe it's just a matter of finding that setting that works. What I find interesting with this thing is that if you find a clean like tone control setting that you like, by the time you gain it all the way up, it kind of sounds pretty good there too. It doesn't require much tweaking thereafter. Let me see if I can dial something in with that. So what's happening right now is I've got the high cut up pretty much, so we're allowing a lot of the highs to get through. Volume 2 is down low enough where the bypass cap over the the volume pot should be kicking in, but it's still kind of a little round, a little mid-focused. All the gain is coming out of volume 1. So there's a couple sections in there that are getting hit. Gosh darn it, I'll keep that out of the way. I'm sorry, I apologize. So volume 1 is where most all of the gain is derived from. Volume 2 is kind of an afterthought, if you will, in that regard. So you can use volume 2 as kind of like a pre-master volume, if you will. I'm going to cut back some bass. I'm going to add some presence. It doesn't really do the mid-gain thing so well. Let's drag number 2 into the mix and see if that improves anything. Dragging number 2 into it seems to help with the medium gain a little bit. Much better there. So, I mean, it's got a lot of range. You cannot be afraid to use the presence control. It takes you from here to there. And then, of course, you know, as you just play around with it more, you get different sounds. The reverb's really kicking in now because I'm driving the front end quite a bit. Let's try position 2. I like position 2 better on the bridge anyway. I must have bored everybody. Everybody bolted on me. Nobody wants to watch me play guitar? So I am going to just go out on a limb and say that, you know, if you don't want clean and you're looking for just, you know, kind of a good crunch just set both the volumes at around the 2 to 3 o'clock spot. Probably going to be in a good spot. It's not outright like roar. It's a good roar, but it's not like outright like when you gain it all the way up. When you gain it all the way up, it gets pretty ornery. It's like right there. I mean, this is bedroom level playing right now, so it'll almost do infinite sustain if you want it to go there, but I think most people are going to kind of like, if you're going for the gain stuff, you're going to want it between 2 o'clock on both of them to all the way up, and you can play around from there. Like, there's some range in there, right? There's some freaking range in there. That's all we need to know. I think people are tired of listening to me play because it's obvious that everybody has left the chat. So I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. I mean, it's long on the tooth. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not that interesting. So I don't blame them for taking off. I'm just stating the obvious. That's all. So thank you guys for hanging out with me as long as you have. We have learned now how to... Hold on, I got to change things around a little bit here. I wish there was like a Control-Z button. I don't think there is. And then I'm going to shrink this down. I got to remember how I had it. It was down in here somewhere. And then I got to go over to here. Sorry. We're working this out. We're working it out. You and I. Something like that. Yeah, it looks about right. Yeah, I think that'll work. We're going to leave it like that for now. I'll adjust it more later. I have not locked the tuners. I haven't locked the tuners yet, but this guitar is fun to play. I will do some adjusting to these, as I mentioned before. I don't have much else to talk about at the moment, but there is some news about the giveaway. And when I say the giveaway, I keep talking about this guy right here. The DV, or the D7. It's been kind of... it's been labeled like the devil in a blue dress. And it kind of is. Like, you heard it go from clean to mean. Like, it'll do absolute cleans all the way up to something pretty freaking mean. It's kind of crazy how one single channel with no switches or knobs can do that. But this is the giveaway amp. So there are rules in the description on how to do that. I have an entire series. If you're new here, I'm sure the 8 of you that are here currently already know who the hell I am. Except for maybe the new guy, Mr. Low Budge over here. Low Budge, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, you know, please do subscribe. If you're interested, this thing is a giveaway amp. It is possible that you can win it. So what do I mean by that? I have the instructions in the doobly-doo. There was a gentleman here called Grant Us Glorious Tone a few moments, well, a little bit ago. You might have missed him, I don't know. But you need to email him. Now, I'm not going to tell you you have to be a subscriber to both of our channels, but it will certainly help your odds of winning, because you do need to be informed of when the giveaway is, because you must be present to win. We're going to try to make that as fair as we can, but, you know, giving away something for free, all that we ask is that you're there at the time your name is called out of the hat. Sorry, excuse me. We'll give you a few minutes to answer, of course. And if you miss your deadline to give us a hoot and a holler in the chat, well, we'll tear your name up and we'll call the next name out of the hat, or go back one, or whatever it is, and wait for that person to respond to the call to duty. And then if you are the winner of it, we will try to figure out how we're going to get it to you. It is a world mains amplifier, so it not only will work in the Americas, it will work in European countries as well at 230 or whatever volts. So it does have a switch in the back. We'll see how that goes. We're going to do some tests with it when it goes to South Korea, which is where this thing is going to be sent to here in a couple weeks. Once I got a couple things I got to finish up on it. The faceplate is scratched, so I need to redo the faceplate, and the effects loop, I'm going to do some buttoning up with that. There's like a modification I want to try to see if I can make it a little less interactive and whatnot. But in either case, the effects loop is in there. It works just fine, and it would work just fine the way that it's in there. I want to try something else on it, but we need to optimize it. Let's put it that way. So this weekend, Riley is actually doing a live, like a dual split screen type thing. So a special guest, if you will. So Riley, where is he at? He's of course not here right now, because why wouldn't he be? So Riley 0187. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, please do go over and check him out. He is funny AF. You want entertainment value, Riley has that in the bag in spades. He's much more entertaining and funny and all that jazz than I am. He will even put on an Einstein wig for you. But he is going to have a one-on-one interview with Grant Us Glorious Tone. And as I just mentioned, Grant Us Glorious Tone is the one who's not auctioning, but, giving this thing away. He's doing the actual giveaway. And there they will answer any questions. They'll deal with kind of any, there's a few things. There's a little bit of fun stuff going on as it relates to this giveaway. Interpersonal relationship type of stuff. Not really, it doesn't change anything, right? It doesn't change your odds. It doesn't change anything. But it's just some of the background to it is kind of interesting, and they'll try to talk that out, expand on it, and, maybe ease tensions or increase them, whatever it is, I don't know. I am not a part of that. Interesting factoid, I have only seen one entry video, and it was because the gentleman sent it to both of us. I think he just wanted to send it to me so I could check it out. I have not seen any other entry videos. I do not need you to send me an entry video. It is not for me. So make sure you go to ToshiSweetStaffy@gmail.com. It is in the description. That is where you will email the specific instructions. Again, just being a subscriber to this channel and to Grant Us Glorious Tones will ensure that you'll get the information needed to be there on the night of the giveaway, which is down the road a little ways. It could be in July, could be in August. I suspect earliest will be July. The latest will probably be August. So just know it is coming around the corner quickly. A little bit more backstory on this guy, and I know it's not exactly in the ideal spot to see it. We'll have another follow-up video when it's completed to give you more of that kind of look, but in January, I pretty much announced or started on the construction of this amp. So almost 6 months ago, I started on this thing. We had some ups and downs with the construction process. I went places, things to do, all that fun stuff. So not 100% of my attention was spent on it, but I have spent over 200 hours working on that thing. So if you're new here and you're just coming in now, or if you haven't seen any of those videos, I do recommend that you go check out the new giveaway amplifier series that I have in my live thing. Everything was done live and pretty much in real time. There are some very dull videos in there that I had to put together. There's some tedious parts, more or less, where, showing how to paint wood. It's kind of pointless because it takes 10 minutes to paint the wood and then you wait 24 hours to, do anything with it. So I try to plan everything so I can get as much done with that kind of stuff in one day, but there's not really much content to make out of it because, I got wood pieces scattered all over the shop, etc., etc. all kinds of different little things going on. So other things that didn't get shown were like making the metal. You can't see it really from this picture, but if you go back into some of the other videos, you can see all this stuff in more detail. But like the metal work and stuff like that, it's just drilling and cutting and countersinking a piece of metal and then rubbing it with a piece of sandpaper. Stuff that on film is kind of a pain in the butt to show, because you got all the noise that goes on, and then my attention really isn't on you. It's on trying to make this, once normal looking piece of aluminum stock look like a brushed aluminum piece. Little things like that. So just thank you all for your time, your attention, and just coming in and checking this stuff out. I want to try to do more content like this. Maybe not so much me playing and all that crap. I'm okay at playing, but I'm not that entertaining at playing. I know that for a fact. But I want to try to do more kind of interesting, like, what about this type of stuff? Fishman Fluence. There's a bunch of videos out there on it, but none of them that really kind of take you through the whole. It's not like I showed you really in detail, great detail, how to install it, but you kind of just saw how it was done, right? My review on these is still pending, I guess you could say. I like them as far as active pickups go. I would put these up there on my list of hell yes. I am still kind of leaning towards those EMG, the James Hetfield ones, as being just maybe eking these things out a little bit. But those EMGs just have a little too much oomph to them. And unfortunately, even though these things stay pretty bright even when you roll down the volume, I don't like having to do that stuff. I want it to be clean when I have it all the way up. They were always crunchy no matter what you did. So there's Grant Us Glorious Tone now. So he's the gentleman that you want to... Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Stephen. But I don't play music, and I know how much, like, YouTube is so fickle right now. Like, I could probably play an actual song, and maybe I won't get in trouble for it. I just don't like pushing that boundary. It's really hard to say something, give me a copyright strike if I'm just literally fiddle farting around and playing dick all. So I just try not to do that kind of stuff. I've been fortunate. I haven't had any strikes on my channel yet, which is kind of crazy considering the number of expletives that slip out on occasion. But, I think it makes it somewhat entertaining, while not being overtly grotesque. An occasional slip here and there kind of makes it real. The burp thing. I mean, come on, that's how you know it's a real show. Like, realistically speaking, that's how you know it's a real show. Speaking of which, I need to get my drink, so we need to tie this up. And we've pretty much wrapped it up anyway now at this point. We are really, really close to giving this thing away. Really, really freaking close. I will do a video on the live, another live, I should say, of this thing when it's actually dialed in, where it will be out of the amp. We will peel the plastic off of it. We'll kind of do a more of a grand, like, entrance sort of thing, if you will. Something a little more entertaining showing it, other than me just stuffing it in the box saying, hey, cool, it works. So I think with that, I'm going to call it, you guys. I want to thank you so much for just under the 3-hour mark. So we did pretty good in that regard. Once you wrap your head around these things, it's actually a little bit easier. I love this guitar. I like it a little bit more now than I did before I put these pickups in. The other pickups I had before just weren't cutting it for me. So these ones are definitely a step above where they were. I still want to do more on my Gibby Telly. I'll show that again just because. Let me give you a rundown of this real quick. So the other night, if you were here, last night, if you were here, you might have seen this. Now, if you are new here, here's the trippy thing about it. You can already see it's weird because this is a Telecaster body, but we got a stop bar tailpiece, dual humbuckers, an ESP neck, and a Gibson custom, Les Paul custom thing going on. Right? So this is obviously not, I haven't put the covers back on yet either, but this is obviously not a legit guitar. This is the world's most authentic guitar. Period. Hands down, world's most authentic guitar. Today, I did order some parts for this thing. Excuse me, I needed to get that out. Okay, so what did I get? I got a brand new stop bar and tailpiece. I got some higher quality parts, okay? Because this one rattles. I don't like it. It's really, really loose, and I don't yuck. I got new pickups and pickup rings. These pickup rings are kind of bleh. I don't like them, but I got new pickup rings and I got new pickups. I got all gold again. The switch I don't mind so much, even though the switch is like a completely different, you can't really tell from your angle, but the switch is like a completely different color of gold than the rest of the hardware. And I got new tuners. These tuners are cabbage, straight cabbage. I don't even know what they say on there. I can't even read it. It is so authentic. This guitar is so authentic. What does that say? I can't even read what it says. It's so sloppy. No, it straight up says Grover. That is how authentic this guitar is. Those say Grover. I can guarantee you, those are not Grovers. All right? They did not come out of a Grover factory. There is nothing Grover about these things. These are absolutely doo-doo freaking, just straight up doo-doo tuning heads. Maybe we'll do a giveaway on all the parts of this so somebody else can have it. So I got new tuning heads coming in, and I believe they are locking, so we won't have to do any wrap crap anymore. I got a new I got a new nut coming. I went with a Graph Tech. I did not go with a white one. I went with a black one. The thing that sucks about this one is that they painted the guitar with the nut in there. And you can see that I'm going to have to cut some stuff away. But I went with a black Graph Tech nut. I did not go with super high dollar pickups. I went with, can't remember what, they're Alnico 5s if I'm not mistaken, but there's like it's an 8K in the neck and like it's 15K in the bridge. It's a little hotter than I like for a bridge pickup, but considering what this thing is, it's going to turn into a rock machine. The idea is to turn this thing into a rock machine. What I will also do is, once I get the bridge and stop bar tailpiece, is do like an actual setup on this thing. It's not bad. Like, it's probably a little, it might actually do with a little more relief, like just an actual little bit of relief. Right now, I don't think there's really any relief to speak of. But they did a really, like, of all the things on this guitar that they didn't do a great job on, like that screw right there is stripped already because the screw is just long enough to get through the pickup ring, like crap like that, right? But they absolutely just blew it out of the park with the neck. It's a fat neck. Like, I know a lot of people don't really like fat necks. I don't mind them. But the fretwork on this thing is just phenomenal. They did a rounded fret for each one of them, a ball end rounded fret on each one of them. It is a bound fretboard. They say it is ebony. I'm still on the fence about that. I kind of feel like it's stained or dyed like rosewood. Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters anyway. But it is fully bound. But they killed it on the neck. It's just got some playability issues. The intonation is wrong. And I mean, you can kind of just look at it and see, like, it's just generically set up in that regard. So the intonation's off. I mean, the nut, I've never seen strings buried so far in there. Like, even the E string is usually flush with the top. Like, you can fit another E string on top of the E string and it would still not go over the top of the nut. That kind of crap. Yeah, right? I kind of feel like that's the whole, like, this is just, that's why I say this is the world's most authentic guitar. Because it's just to everybody. Straight up, everybody gets one. ESP, screw you. Gibson, absolutely screw you. Fender, this shop that made this thing was probably only open for 2 weeks or something. They made the run of these things and they never did it again. I've never even seen or heard of these before, but my friend picked it up and he got it because he just got a kick out of it, and he held on to it for a little bit. I think his intention was always to give it to me because I like Telecasters. I'm a Telecaster kind of guy. Then he showed it to me. He's like, check it out, man. I was like, oh man, it's freaking cool. And he's like, hey, you like Tellys, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's yours. So there we have it. But this is going to be fun. So we'll do another video. I think most all of the parts come tomorrow. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, all of the major parts come tomorrow with the exception of the nut. So maybe what we'll do tomorrow is do another guitar video of all things, and we'll put the new stuff on, actually give this thing a proper setup, and see if I can rock out with my cock out with this thing. Last night, if you missed it, what we did on this thing is the pickups in this thing came unpotted. So all they did was squeal, excuse me. And so it was pretty much unplayable, right? If you had any amount of gain whatsoever, all you heard was every time you stopped playing. Well, so last night what we did is we potted the pickups. And that made a world of difference. It didn't squeal anymore. So obviously potting the pickup did work, but counterfeit goods, bull. But maybe what we'll do is I'll get all these parts here, kind of combine into a box, and if somebody wants them, I will send. We'll kind of do the first one to raise their hand sort of thing, on the drop of a dime sort of deal, and we'll send it off to you that way or something like that. We'll try to make it fun at least anyway. So. Oh gosh, with all of that, I think I'm gonna call it, ladies and gentlemen. Probably mostly gentlemen. I'm shocked that there's 12 of you. We clawed back a couple people, interestingly enough. Oh, another thing I did do was I made sure to get some more hardware, so that way I can actually put like real screws in there that actually will go all the way into the wood and not strip things. Yay, imagine that. And one of the other things I want to try to do is figure out how to make this thing. Does anybody know how to get these things tightened down? Oh, I think I see it now. Because this is bullshit. This is a useless snark. That is not how a snark needs to work. I'll figure that out too, because that's starting to drive me up the wall. And I don't want to spend $19 on another one. But you guys, I just thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.